There's an uptick in COVID cases and a new variant called BA.286, some 3.5 years since the pandemic was first identified. But if public health officials feel it necessary to ask America to mask up again, how many would comply? The Drudge Report led its website this morning with the headline, "Not Again, Mask Up in New York." Lead story at CBS News this morning, COVID hospitalizations on the rise as U.S. enters Labor Day weekend. The past several weeks have seen reports from all over the country of a rise in cases. And yes, the CDC reports COVID-19 hospital admissions are up more than 19% in the most recent week. In a few school districts, this has even led to canceled classes and sporting events. A handful of companies and schools have responded to outbreaks on their premises by reinstating mask mandates. Among them, several hospital systems, including Kaiser Permanente in Northern California, Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Dillard University in Louisiana, Lionsgate Film Studio in Santa Monica. But so far, those have been the few exceptions. And this graph shows how the current rise in hospitalizations compares to past surges, less than half the numbers this time last year and still lower than they've been for about 80% of the pandemic. But if things get worse.
Burn Live, y'all. Murray Wankley keeping y'all connected. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers' eye red, keeping underage smoking off of social media, killing myself for your entertainment, sitting here with friends and family to start a cannabisation. What up, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, how are y'all doing? Welcome to another Burn Live show. Yeah. Welcome. Y'all, hey, look, I didn't go live for a couple of days. I still even got my camera up in here, yeah. I gotta get my camera in the shot. Cameron said, bump that. He wants to be. You know why he's in the shot? Because I normally scoot it back. There we go. Welcome. Anyway, how y'all doing? I ain't go live for a couple of days, y'all. I had to make sure I got some reports down straight. As you see, COVID is coming back. I am not the first to report this, that COVID's coming back. COVID has been reported on other podcasts. I did want to be one of the first people to report it, but I wanted just a tad bit more confirmation that it's coming back. So it is coming back. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. There's nothing you can do about it. There's something you can do about it, but it is coming back. This is the first actual news report right here that discussed about COVID and where it came from and the new name of it and what's the new actions to come for it.
It may be hard to get people to revert to an abundance of caution. According to Gallup, in the first 2 years, public confidence in the U.S. healthcare system has dropped from 44% to 34%. And Donald Trump took to Truth Social to again make the issue political, accusing the latest outbreak to be hype designed to impact the 2024 election.
But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates.
Joining me now to discuss is Dr. Anthony.
Listen here, that makes so much sense for how people are looking and thinking in America today about COVID and all the suffering and losing of time. What, some kids got put back in school for two years. Like, nobody wants to sit there and hold on. Let me say this clearly. A lot of parents got sick and tired of their kids, of their child. They got to know their kids on a very, very different level. And some people were not appreciative of that level and definitely do not want to go back to that. I promise you, I guarantee they're going to find every reason to not want to go back to that level. Okay? Stuck in a house with your kids. And you already know how they is. Some of y'all don't know how y'all kids are, and they just now heading into puberty and stuff and stages that you definitely don't want to be locked in a house with a puberty changing child. It sounds like a scary movie that somebody need to make. Steven Spielberg, if you heard me, I thought of the idea first, so I need my cut. Okay, I need my cut. So let's see what Dr. I can't believe he still got a job trying to kill the whole world, Fauci.
Fauci, he of course is the former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Dr. Fauci, nice to have you back. How worried are you that people will not follow advice to wear masks if we get to that?
Well, Michael, that's a very good question. As you said, if we get to that, I mean, we're starting to see a surge of cases, as you mentioned, about an 18 or 19% increase in hospitalizations, certainly going in the wrong direction with looks like a late summer and into the fall surge. How bad it's going to get, we don't know. As you know, this is a very unpredictable virus, has shown us that over the last 3.5 years. I am concerned that people will not abide by recommendations. And we're not talking about mandates or forcing anybody, but when you have a situation where the volume of cases in society gets to a reasonably high level, particularly the vulnerable, those who are elderly and those with underlying conditions, are going to be more susceptible and vulnerable if they do get infected to get severe disease leading to hospitalization. We know that. That's a fact. We've seen that. So I would hope that if in fact we get to the point where the volume of cases is such and organizations like the CDC recommend, CDC doesn't mandate anything, I mean recommends that people wear masks, I would hope that they abide by the recommendation and take into account the risk to themselves and to their family.
I wish he would be more specific when he says recommendation. What is you consider a recommendation? A lot of people recommend masks. You had people wearing 2 masks. I know for a person for a fact wore 2 masks. I know for a fact a person got the COVID shot to prevent COVID getting caught and spread it and still caught COVID. These are facts, ladies and gentlemen. I know a person. I wish I can bring them onto this show, but that's near or there. But this is right here. I'm not going to go off and too deep into this. I just want y'all to see that COVID is back, and it's here. It's here. Welcome everybody. I do have marijuana stories to go over today, so give me 3 seconds. Get your weed, get your bongs, get your blunts, get your bongs. If you hear me breathing in the mic, I'm sorry. People, I got a text message out around. Hey man, I heard you breathing. I'm trying to listen to Dr. Fauci lie to me, and all I hear is I was like, my bad, lady. My bad if the microphone works better than what I expected. I'm sorry. It's just one of those days. I appreciate people stopping by and hanging out with your boy. For real. But let's get into this, Judge, over this Alabama laws.
In Alabama. Today, a judge extended a pause on the licensing and delayed a hearing on the Open Meetings Act violation that was alleged by one of the companies denied a license. State Capitol reporter Maddie Beer Temple is in Montgomery with the story.
AMCC lawyers say the commission will vote to put a stay on the licensing process at their meeting this Thursday. Now, that stay would be on top of the court-ordered stay already in place. They say they'll then discuss how to move forward with a third round of license awards. Lawyers for the company Alabama Always say they're encouraged by a third round of awards done in the open.
The way that government in our country should work is that people should be given notice of what the government's doing and an opportunity to participate and respond. That's it.
It should be. We should be wanting a annual lookout, an annual paper of taxes, money, revenue, and things, especially in this marijuana. If we the people, and I'm preaching this out loud for the people that's up in here, we the people want to keep control over marijuana, First of all, you better pray that feds do not take over. As long as the feds is not taking over, we are in a winning state, for one. Two, we need to find out where exactly these taxpayers' money in the marijuana industry is going. I feel like that is super, super necessary to make sure that this money and taxes is going to the right places. And there have been reports of taxpayers' money going to subjects that's not really feasible to taxpayers' money. All right, I'm not going to get all into that until the report fully comes out so I can get more about it to make sure that I am speaking the truth and not just speaking some falsified lies. I do not want to falsify a lie to anybody. I want to give you the cold, hard facts and truth and things that are going on. If y'all give me a second, I am still sharing out my content to people. Hopefully, I give me some people up in here. But you really don't want the government involved. We want to know the taxes and where the money is going. These are things that's important. There are places like Alabama that's having problems. You got places like Oklahoma that's giving people problems in the marijuana industry. And I feel like we really, really need to do something about it. And the only reason we're going to do something about it is getting the receipts. Okay? Getting the receipts and making sure that Congress don't vote no rule in to legalize weed for us on the federal state. Once again, if they legalize it on the federal state, you're going to give the feds the legal right to go in your home to disturb your peace of mind and thinking. You Democrats, you Republicans, you independent people do already know you do not want the government in your life. You keep repeating it. So this is a main reason, a main way to help us not have them in our lives.
I'm hopeful that the process is heading in that direction.
Alabama always built a facility in Montgomery and was twice denied an integrated facility license. The AMCC score sheet shows them ranked 26 out of 38 applicants.
Their objective at the end of the day is to get a license, and they spent a lot of money.
Meanwhile, other companies have joined the litigation. Verano, Alabama was awarded an integrated facility license the first time, but not the second. The score sheet shows them ranked number 1. In their complaint to the court, Verano says they should get a license. Their CEO also sent a letter to Governor Kay Ivey saying they're, quote, ready, willing, and able to invest at least $40 million in Alabama. While the companies battle in court, Shay Garrigan with the Alabama Cannabis Industry Association says patients are waiting.
I think it's very sad because nobody was there representing the patients. They were just there representing people that did not receive a license. The only thing people that are in pain right now want to know is when can I get my card?
Now, Judge Anderson extended that temporary restraining order until September 6th. That's also when he'll hold that hearing on the Open Meetings Act issue. Reporting in Montgomery, Maddie Beertemple, WDHN News for the Wiregrass.
For the Wiregrass.
The last best place is probably the last place you'd expect to see this. Dispensaries and grow houses dotting Montana's stunning landscape.
I've been saying it's got to be Montana. I think I did this report already.
And the delays.
This from 2 days ago. See?
So the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has reportedly taken the first step toward easing federal restrictions on marijuana. Cannabis is currently legal in some form in nearly 40 states now, but federally it's still illegal and classified as a Schedule I drug, the group that includes heroin and meth. Now, last year, President Biden directed HHS to review how that drug is actually.
Okay, I think this is more of them talking about not making it a Class A drug and making it like a Class B drug. So when you get pulled up, you get a ticket, it's not going to be in the same statutes as coke. To be honest with you, y'all, I believe they shouldn't change this only for the fact of people when they steal marijuana. I'd rather for them get that double charge of them trafficking, stealing, and possession. You see what I'm saying? When somebody steal your shit, you say you got acres of weed and you're growing them and they stealing your stuff, and they be like, okay, they get you for theft and that's about it. You're going to be mad because they done got away with 10 pounds or whatever net growth of marijuana. So when it comes to that, you got to be careful, because you can let a ton of weed get taken from you with the bare minimum of charges put on a person. You can even press charges and you probably not going to get nothing substantial on that person, if you see what I'm saying. So that's why I be like, it's a catch-20. You don't want feds in it, like I keep saying, but you don't want to keep reducing the charge of marijuana, because it makes bigger charges of marijuana incohesive. If that makes sense to y'all. I hope it does.
Actually classified. The president did this when he pardoned thousands of Americans who had been convicted on federal charges of marijuana possession. Proponents of reclassification have asked it be a Schedule III, a group that includes drugs like Tylenol and codeine. For more, White House.
No. No. Ladies and gentlemen, no. Because then and I'm sorry to say this, and I know people are going to hate, but man, that means that's giving us, the people, the right to abuse marijuana. It gives the right, and I'm not saying you, I'm talking about those out there that's going to take advantage and abuse the marijuana system. Abuse it. Not just, oh man, we got a couple of ounces. We just went on a road trip. You know, we smoked around 3 ounces. Okay, that's cool. We rode around with 3 ounces. Y'all was smoking. Chilling. What about that person that's riding around with 10 pounds, which an estimate of 10 pounds on street cred is almost worth, it's about worth a meal. Close to it. Somewhere around the estimate of a meal or less, running around. And like I said, when that person get pulled over, what he's going to get? He's going to get charged for Tylenol. No.
Correspondent Lynn Wang joining us once again, and our contributor and history professor at Johns Hopkins University, Leah Wright Rigueur, joined me now. So, Selena, just walk us through this recommendation from HHS and why it's getting mixed reviews.
Too with you guys, so don't
well,
get it
Kira,
twisted.
if this actually goes through, it would be huge, because as you say, this would mean that it would lower the risk category that it's in. Currently, marijuana is categorized in the same way that heroin and LSD are, with no accepted medical use. The HHS is recommending that it be lowered to the category that ketamine and testosterone are in. Now, if the DEA accepts this recommendation, however, it does not outright legalize marijuana at the federal level. However, it would pave the way for it to become so, and it would also lead to some significant changes. For instance, this would likely lower the tax burden for marijuana businesses. It would make it easier for cannabis companies to get financial services. It could also make it easier for researchers to do studies on the health effects of marijuana. This also comes as marijuana legalization has been getting more broad bipartisan support. More than 20 states have legalized recreational use, and 38 states have legalized it for medical use. However, marijuana advocates say that the state...
All 50 states, let's go medical. I'm not knocking that. I'm with that. I'm down with that. We can rock with that. All 50 states, let's go medical. Should all 50 states go recreational? Hell no. Sorry. Some of these states out there are bad. Trafficking. I done did reports on them. So I'm just letting you know that it is going down like that. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to clean up the streets. Just trying to clean up the streets. You know? What did I just see that alarmed me? Okay. Never mind. Let's finish.
Law has been far ahead of the federal law, and the federal law has been lagging significantly behind in that while this is a step in the right direction, it does not do enough. Kira.
So, Leah, what stands out to you about a possible reclassification here?
Well, it'd be huge. You can't understate the idea of reclassification from going to like treating marijuana as if it is equivalent to heroin or LSD or even meth is something that is essentially effectively Tylenol or even
Sending people to jail for processing marijuana has endured many lives. Joe Biden, you used to lock people up for petty shit than just marijuana. Stop playing.
even ketamine makes a huge difference.
Who is tweeting for Joe? We know he ain't tweeting. Xing. Okay, he's not Xing. Is that even how you? Yeah, he's not Xing. All right, come on, y'all. We know he not Xing. Let's keep it real. He is not Xing.
Stigma around marijuana and cannabis use will also change because the federal government has finally weighed in. One of the things we also know is that it may provide a pathway not only to legalizing cannabis or marijuana, but also to decriminalizing marijuana and cannabis use. And that's the part that I think is most important because
this the part where she not thinking about real criminals. She just thinking about people that smoke weed, that got caught smoking weed. If you get caught smoking weed, they have already decriminalized that. You see how it's already been. We already decriminalized weed. Bruh, it's down to a misdemeanor. You want to treat it like a Tylenol, okay. People are going to start giving kids weed just for the hell of it because they claim that the kid got a headache. Oh man, it's a Tylenol. Get a kid the weed. Abuse of marijuana.
because that's the part where marijuana has been so devastating to so many Americans. Over 1 million Americans have been incarcerated under simple possession uses since the war on drugs has happened. And so if the federal government can finally catch up with the rest of the United States, it would have a massive impact on the number of people, both who have served time for marijuana possession and or are still incarcerated because of marijuana possession.
So, Selena, how does this fit into Biden's broader goals?
Well, Biden did campaign on decriminalizing marijuana. Last October, he had announced that he was granting pardons to all people convicted of simple marijuana possession under the federal law. But again, as we've been saying here, reclassifying the drug does not decriminalize it entirely. The drug would still be illegal under federal law. So the expectation, though, is that if this does get reclassified, if it successfully goes through with the DEA, that it would at least lessen the punishment and could eliminate criminal penalties under the federal law. But again, many advocates say they need this to go a step further, and they think that marijuana should be removed from the Controlled Substances Act entirely.
And I guess final thoughts, Leah, just from a civil rights perspective, you know, just the benefits from a possible reclassification of the drug. You touched on it a little bit, but maybe we could dive in just a little deeper before we go.
Sure. So I think that there are two major benefits. One is because the states have largely, all but 4 states have essentially decriminalized marijuana and cannabis. We've seen a booming industry in those fields, and people have been making a lot of money. But the majority of the owners of those businesses are white. And the problem is the people who are disproportionately punished for marijuana and cannabis possession have been Black and brown people. So part of what this larger kind of pathway towards decriminalization does is actually broaden the financial benefits of marijuana, but also open a pathway for people.
It's always got to be something for the Black and brown. Why? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep standing on it. Quit thinking Black and brown people. Can we just think American? Flat out. When we start thinking just American, guess what? racism would die. It would die. We would not think about it no more. We will be on another level. I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. For real, y'all. I'm just keeping it just so 100. Now, y'all see this 80, the percents of arrest, 89%.6, you know. Where American Civil Liberty Union is where this source came from. Okay. So you know they only was talking to black folks. I'm just gonna keep it 100. They was only talking to niggas when they did this report. Stop playing with me.
People who are incarcerated under it and who have not been able to tap into that market to be able to tap into this. A big part of marijuana decriminalization, the process of the federal government, is also restorative equity and justice for people who have been wronged. And this is a first step. It's an important first step because the federal government has been so close.
You think she want the federal government to tax us so all banks will be allowed to use the money? Now listen here, I thought it was dumb. I thought it was stupid. And like I said, she's not thinking about, everybody's thinking about patience. She's thinking about me and you walking down the street and the police pull us over. What you doing, smoking weed? Okay. Here's a felony ticket. You go to jail. That's not going to happen. Most cops in recreational states, as long as you're not in a park with kids, then you should be okay. See, this is why I'm saying you got to be careful when you decriminalize it, because when you decriminalize it, then people are going to smoke weed everywhere and give no fucks about the repercussion and where it comes from. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know some of y'all got kids. Do you want to take your kid to the park to swing on a swing set and have a person smoking a fat ass joint in their face? Just sitting there at the park bench watching kids play smoking weed. You might not want that. But more you decriminalize weed, the more you give public spaces the opportunity to get invaded. Now, I said it 3 different ways on my mama. Y'all should understand like why I'm a little against this happening. And I can't believe that I'm against stuff like this. This is why y'all should have just kept me in the politics. Just left me over there with the Trumps and the Bidens and smoke my weed and talking my shit. Because now I'm hearing these laws and I'm understanding rules and how shit works. And it doesn't really... It really doesn't fit the benefits for everybody when you're only looking out for only 2 people, blacks and brown people. That is technically racist. I said it. I didn't want to say it. I was really looking for something else to beat her around the racist point or attribute of looking at this situation. But when you only, and I'm just saying, that's what y'all seen the statistics, y'all seen the numbers, you see how she's finna fix her lips, she's finna roll them tongues and say an R word. Now I'm just playing. I don't know what she's finna say next. I ain't heard this video. But still, you got to think about the concept and where it comes from and how it looks. Okay? You don't want... You want to decriminalize to a certain extent. I do not believe in decriminalizing weed to Tylenols and aspirin aspects. Because then, I'm smoking it anywhere. People are going to smoke it in a fucking zoo, bro. Oh, man, this it's Tylenol. It's like popping a pill. Pop a Molly, I'm sweating. Pop a Molly, I'm sweating. Come on, like, You really think about it, ladies and gentlemen. And look, I done had people come in here and they listen, y'all. I done had people come in here and they listen and they still left. Why? Because they can't deal with truth like that. I don't make sense. I'm thinking irrational right now. I guarantee that's what when people see this video and they leave, and I wish people would put comments in it, but it's okay, it's whatever. But I know they're thinking like, yo, bro, you're thinking just a tad bit irrational, man. How many times have you walked outside and smoked weed walking down the street? Plenty of times. Even when it was illegal, plenty of times. How many times have I walked in a park smoking weed? Plenty of times. How many times have I walked through the park and seen a kid and felt some type of way? Every single time too. Like, bruh, put that out, man. You see them kids over there. Don't smoke around them kids. You see, you're still going to have that mentality, that mindset of not wanting to smoke around a child. But, oh no, okay, all right. Let it criminalize that shit down to a Tylenol. The fuck? Nobody gonna give zero fucks. Motherfuckers gonna be smoking in the car with their kids, big blowed. Big highs. Big cojones. Oh, man. Shit. Tylenol. Police. Whee! Tylenol. Oh, God. I'm smoking the weed when you pull me over. I'm not putting it out. I'm not putting this out. Bruh. I'm gonna put this out for Big Smoke. What you say to me? Oh, you just gave me. What you say to me? Boss? You Ooh, boss, you tripping. Ooh, boss, okay. Huh? How many times your boss gonna say something and get on your nerves?
All the time.
Bruh. Motherfuckers like, man, I pop aspirins when the boss get on my nerves and smoke your butt. On God. Man. Bruh. Ladies and gentlemen. Y'all should have left me on politics only. This right here sounds good. It may look good on paper. Listen here. You may be able to call Tyrone and tell him to come on home, but damn it, Tyrone smoking in front of little Tyrone Jr. Shit. And the third, nigga, we smoking big blunts in the house. Nobody's gonna think about that other aspect of the child. Like, I see parents nowadays when it comes to smoking weed, man, they go outside. You know, I'm like,
that's what my brother does. He'll take his boys outside, let them play in the yard, and he makes sure they stay away from him.
No. It's aspirin now. I'm going out. What you going outside for?
I'm taking an aspirin.
Come on, y'all. I know y'all probably like, man, he tripping. He wilding. But you got to look at her. You already decriminalized weed. You got presidents with an S sending people home from smoking weed. Congratulations, we all smoking weed together. Let's get along. Oh, baby. Let's get along. We good. Now y'all trying to put this stuff at aspirins. Oh man, let's see aspirins. You trying to get a nigga to come home that robbed a nigga with a blunt in his mouth. That nigga can come home now. Why he get to come home? Because I was popping a pill. They might not got me for the gun charge. They got me for the weed charge because they couldn't find the weapon. I didn't think about. Nobody thought about that shit. Oh yeah, I robbed him. I robbed Jerry and Flint and Kushar and Bruno Mars and Flint, Michigan and Florida and Mary. I robbed them all, but they never found a weapon. You know, every time they found on me, that aspirin. What they pull you over for? Man, weed. You know how, I don't know. If you ever been locked up, you not been locked up. I hope people watching the show ain't never been locked up. But when you get locked up, man, what you in for, man? Man, I robbed these niggas, bro. I got at these fools. I got at these dogs. Man, I got them dogs. Man, so what you in for? A blunt? What? Yeah, man, they found some weed on me, bro. If they didn't find that weed on me, dog, I'll be a free dog. I'll be a free boy. I'll be a free man. Free man. Huh? But guess what? He locked up, you know, cool. He coming home. He popping pills. That wasn't no weed. That was an aspirin he was popping. He pulled out on them people. He had to calm his nerve. He robbed you and caught a headache. Wow. Is that ridiculous? That he robbed you and he caught a headache. And he started popping that Tylenol. It got caught by the police. Okay. Y'all better wake up to the realization. That's how deep it is. I just want y'all to understand where they're trying to take marijuana to a level to where, just at some point, some cases, some form, you gotta leave where it's at. Okay. Y'all, I am finna go back and forth with these stories. Okay. I keep seeing this one story that keep catching my eye. I got to see what this is about, y'all. You know when I see oh. We gonna take a special quick timeout to give my boy respect. Hold on. Let me get this right. Let me get this right. We gonna take the time out 1 second, one time for your mind to give my boy respect. Okay. Now, yes. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about that bad man prime time. Put a whooping on TCU, 17th ranked in the country. Against Colorado 45-42. Them boys out there playing, them boys out there dog fighting. I had to stop and give these boys props just for 2 seconds, y'all. I just really want to get just to the beginning of the interview when she first got to him. Real quick, y'all. I just want y'all to hear this real quick, bro. I just want to.
They played smart in big moments. And our Jenny Taft is down with Coach
Give a shout. Just give a time out. We're going to get back into the
doesn't get much better than this. You said all along, we come in, this team is here, and wow, did you impress? How proud are you?
Look at Prime.
Thank you, Jesus. I'm so thankful right now. Look at my son, man.
My pop right here.
My son, my other son. Yeah. Man, I'm loving these kids. Rick George for giving me this opportunity, man. This is a blessing. Everybody, Buff Nation who supported us, and all the hood that had my back. I thank y'all. God, this is good. Woo!
What can you tell me about your defense and the way they came up huge with that stop to get this win?
They surrendered some big plays throughout the game, and all we kept teaching was just we need one stop. But what about the offense? How did they respond? How did these guys respond? I don't know how many snaps he played, but we're going to put a hot tub on the plane for him to make sure he's straight.
Hey, we're excited because we are.
That boy played offense and defense, y'all. Offense and defense, baby. He didn't come off the field. He did not come off the field. That boy played his ass off. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you see performance like that, I get hyped. I get hyped. When you see kids get out there on that field and play like that, damn it, it puts something in your soul. It makes you do something to your body. I want y'all to understand that man was a bad man. Prime Time was a bad. His kids' first game playing broke records. No bullshit. Broke records. First game. Ladies and gentlemen, I guaranteed everybody's going to be talking about Prime Time tomorrow. Every sports channel out there is going to be talking about Prime Time. Anybody that went live right now that's into sports is taking the time out to talk about that bad coaching man Prime Time and his boys and what they did on that field. Okay? I'm not going to go no further than that because you know how all this, I just want to give a shout out to Prime Time and his boys and what they did out there on that field. First game. He told you he was coming. That's been his motto. That's been his slogan. He told you he was coming. It's not over. I'm probably going to do reports about this the whole season, as long as I see performances like that, boy. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me bring it down a notch. Let me bring it down a notch. But I'm just saying, I had to give props and props due. I love doing it. Nah. I gotta hear this Jeff Rogan and Bill Myers. Roast woke activists. What? If it's good, like I think it's good, like I'm gonna go back and forth. It's only 10 minutes, so after this, we're gonna talk about some more marijuana stuff. Y'all know how we do it over here. But I'm just too interested just to go the whole hour fully on marijuana. I did a hot good 30 minutes. Yeah, I did a hot real good 30 minutes of it. So let me just go do a little back and forth real quick, please.
Why can you go to a dinner party in Los Angeles with like 10 people and half of them have trans kids?
Right.
And that would never happen in Indiana. Now, maybe some people in Indiana are afraid to come out. That could be true, too. I'm sure it is to some degree. But it's just ridiculous that it's a regional issue to this degree. So obviously, and I know people who say, oh, yeah, at my school, all the kids want to be trans. It's just not cool to be straight anymore.
Right.
You know, it's like every generation has to find a way to say to their parents who gave you everything, fuck you.
Right.
Whatever you do, I'm going to do different. And for a lot of kids, that now is just gender. My stupid, lame parents think that humans are male and female. Gross. I'm fluid. Okay. But like you say, you know, when you get a little older and you've mutilated your body, maybe that'll be a decision you're happy with, and maybe it won't, but there's no going back.
No going back. No going back. Yeah, it's terrifying. It's just terrifying that it's also something that people are making money of.
All right, guys. So
worried about because you don't toe the line.
They should be. Exactly.
You're like a 90s liberal. You're like a liberal.
This motherfucker got his feet up. Hey, Bill Murray got a podcast or whatever. He got good ratings, y'all, and he be getting fucked up. Okay? He be getting fucked up. Your boy be up there getting fucked up, okay? Just saying.
Liberals back when they were more reasonable before they became leftists. And now every liberal kind of has to be a leftist. It's not if you want to be on the team, you got to subscribe to the most fringe ideas that the team is promoting. And I get in trouble with that too. It's such a, I mean, there's so many, like Joe List has talked about that recently, the comic Joe List, very funny guy. And he was talking about he's like, I'm a 90s liberal. He goes, what? I didn't change. It's like everybody else kind of changed. It got real weird, like what you're allowed to disagree with and not to disagree with. And, it's strange.
I'm always trying to make the case that liberal is a different animal than woke.
Yeah.
Because it is. And you can be woke with all the nonsense that now implies, but don't say that somehow it's an extension of liberalism.
Right.
Because it's most often actually an undoing of liberalism.
So
you can have your points of view and your positions on these things, but don't try to piggyback on what I've always believed. I have always believed, as liberals do, for example, in a colorblind society, that the goal is to not see race at all anywhere for any reason.
Yes.
That's what liberals always believed all the way through. Obama, going back, Kennedy, everybody, Martin Luther King. That's not what the woke believe. They believe.
Y'all started going crazy, going nuts, going berserk, out of your minds when y'all let the BLM in. LBG already was out of control. That community was already out of control. But when Obama technically, and this is fact because nobody really before that had put nothing into paperwork. Not that I don't know if anybody pressed them. I'm not here to get into that. That's not my point. My point is to say Obama got that shit cracking. The riot in St. Louis, technically in Florida first, but Mike Brown in St. Louis was the second one where they totally destroyed my hometown. Was the super, ladies and gentlemen, it was their Super Bowl to kick off their season. The Mike Brown incident in St. Louis, how disruptive. The man said and yelled loudly, "Burn the city." And damn it, niggas burnt the city. Burnt the shit out that motherfucker. Burnt all nigga shit. Didn't burn nobody else's stuff. Caused the city millions of dollars of damages. Insurance looked at them like, we finna get paid. Nobody else in St. Louis got paid. Oh yeah, they won't tell you that part. They're not even gonna break that shit down for you. Not even gonna discuss it.
I believe race is first and foremost the thing you should always see everywhere, which I find interesting because that used to be the position of the Ku Klux Klan, that we see race first and foremost everywhere.
Yeah.
So, again, you can have that position, but don't say that's a liberal position. You're doing something very different.
Yeah, no, I agree with Bill Maher and what he's saying, and Joe Rogan as well, too. I'm just wondering, does Bill Maher understand that the modern day Democrat Party is woke, right? Like, they're not liberal anymore. Okay, look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not even a liberal. He's woke, at least in terms of his policy, in terms of the policy that he puts on paper. He's woke. He's woke. Now, himself, Joe Biden might still be a liberal. He might still be a conservative Democrat in his own personal, feelings or whatever. But in regards to how he's running his presidency, okay.
See, that's why for some reason, something told me that we needed to just watch that whole thing ourselves because he was going to do, prime. That's after the show. We're going to come back to that later.
The Department of Health and Human Services.
It's funny to me to see PBS when they do marijuana stories. I'm like, nigga, I grew up on PBS. Nigga, I watched a lot of PBS TV shows and programs and stuff like that. And this is weirdly funny to see them actually talking about real news.
Services is recommending a major change in the way the federal government treats marijuana, but stops short of saying it should be decriminalized under federal law. John Yang has the details.
Jeff, the recommendation is part of a review that President Biden ordered last year. HHS says marijuana should no longer be a Schedule I controlled substance like heroin and LSD, which the law...
Same thing where we already discussed, just a little bit more deeper. PBS want to discuss it. Okay, just. That's probably the biggest thing in news that you're gonna find in the marijuana industry, y'all. Like, to be honest with you, everybody's probably gonna be talking about that, how they finna turn marijuana into aspirin. Hey, Angel Cakes. What we just talking about? Lake Mead? Yeah. Lake Mead update.
Hi, my name is Jesse, and welcome to my...
No, we're not going to actually go into it. I thought you was actually just something different. But yeah, Lake Mead update. That water's rising. Damn. We know that happens. I want to see something. Hold on, y'all, lady. Hey, y'all, St. Louis is, I said St. Louis, I'm sorry. Out here in Las Vegas is water, and Las Vegas can't handle water. I wonder if the stadium, like, flooding, that'd be, like, weirdly, like, not cool and funny. Vicky Ramaswamy still out there taking questions. He's still okay. He's still out there in the race. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if y'all really be tripping. Y'all be looking. I know y'all don't. What do y'all really be into? What do y'all be into? Let's see. WWE. Everybody's into college football. College football. See, he go live with no description. That's what I should. Nah, I gotta have some type of description. Something. Number one female Madden player? Ladies and gentlemen. Nah. Hold on.
To plan so far, their defense has been solid, and they've got themselves a 7-0 lead after the touchdown the last time they had.
What was that?
No time to even think about, hey, are we going to milk the clock? Hey, are we just going to do ball control? This is the NFL.
Come on, we gotta get out of this touchdown, man.
Hey, firing up a fat ass blunt.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Mike up.
Back near his goal line, it's Prescott.
Oh, yeah.
That caught by the rookie tight end, Luke.
Like, what was that? Like, how did that even happen?
A first down there on a pickup.
Like, how did he throw the ball like that, though?
And they were backed up to start the drive, but not anymore. Now, that's the play call that the offensive coordinator had in his head. You saw the end result. He wanted to go ahead and push the ball down the field, and that's what they did. And they wound up with good yardage there. To
We take all positive yards.
It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
I wonder whoever she playing against. Ooh.
Oh, that big ass
Shut up.
nigga. That big ass nigga.
Why this made me mad?
That's a cigarette.
Let's get it, man. We good. We good.
putting something sustained together.
I wonder if this is a team ball, but this is the #1 Madden player in the world. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who this is. This is my first time watching, ladies and gentlemen. It just caught my eye. It was kind of interesting.
Let's go.
Check this
He
out.
said that cigarette making you lose. That tight ass shirt you got on, you can't breathe, bitch.
That's all I wanted to see is how hood is this.
Hell no.
You need a cigarette, fuck nigga.
Backed up here, tough spot.
That's all I wanted to see is how hood is her. That's all I wanted to see, bruh. Straight hood. I wonder what makes her #1.
Oh, I missed him.
Yeah.
Before he's out of bounds.
After the sack, you could understand it.
She sound like she smokes cigarettes.
A little skittish, but looked awfully decisive when he took off.
Bro, let me get up out of here, man. That's what's up.
I'm gonna get the. Hey, I'm gonna get that ball. I'm gonna get that ball, Devin. Devin, I'm finna get that ball. Watch. I'm finna get that ball. Watch.
That's some bullshit, man.
I know. Her mic hella loud, bro.
Bro, what the fuck going on?
Hey, y'all see that shifting?
I
Y'all see
can't.
that shifting?
There's no way
Glimpse
I
nigga
can.
now.
I turned it all the way down
Ain't no
too.
way in hell that same play I just did do the same damn thing.
Get out of
Man, you know, hey, they down south, wherever they from. They country as hell.
Damn, boy,
Fucking go, man.
That's some bullshit, man. I don't like shit.
Go, man.
That's some fucking bullshit.
Oh, is she playing against him and he just super down south?
Damn, boy, EA be trying to fuck a nigga, man.
EA be trying to fuck a nigga,
Oh,
man.
that block.
She is locked in, though.
We good. Lock in.
Mm-mm.
Thank you. Lock in what? I told y'all to get my fucking ball back.
Ooh, ooh. Up close. Atlanta for sure. Atlanta for sure, you think?
I thought I was fucking lying.
Hey, man, it made me want to put them on a big screen like that. Let me put me down there somewhere.
I thought I was lying. Get my fucking ball back.
Bruh, she is aggressive.
Fuck y'all thought this was, man.
Let me see if I can.
Fucking ball back.
See, when the time where I need the other one where she just have her own screen and I have my own screen is the part where I need right now.
Sticky. Clip him. Clip him. Clip him.
Ooh, hey, she backed it up though.
Hey, clip him, kid. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Is she doing her instant replay? Not her own instant replay.
Can't really do shit up bottom when you first get like that.
Not her own instant replay.
Nigga look crackhead.
Ooh. Hey.
Fuck his dog. Clip him. Clip him, kid.
That's funny. Go in the chat, ask her. Is she from Big Cave?
Get my
Why? So
fucking
she
ball
can cuss
back.
my ass out?
Tell me down. Come here. Get my fucking ball back.
Where is our chat?
He ain't scoring no motherfucking more, man. He ain't scoring no more. I got 39 seconds to score again.
Set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And they've got a little under 40 seconds.
Eagles and Cowboys too. That's wild. That's weird. That's what I mean. That's what's up.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's gonna be a die, dude.
Let's go. It would have been.
Hey, she got 4,000 subscribers.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, nigga.
I don't know how many people up in. Ain't people up in here.
Okay, let go.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, nigga.
Nigga.
How the fuck you doing
He's
that,
nervous.
bro?
He's nervous, y'all. He's nervous. He's nervous.
Bro. Like, I can't even switch on my play mid-second, bro. Why I don't buy the shit like that? Come on, man.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah, man. Stop that bullshit, man. Well, I know y'all don't fuck on.
Shell doing a lot of crime right now.
Cause it's bullshitting. Come on.
It's the tight end Kelsey. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call.
Man, okay, y'all, we're gonna watch
4 seconds, y'all. 4 seconds. Let's play smart, kid. Let's play smart, kid. 4 seconds.
This is funny.
Let's play smart, kid. 4 seconds.
Final play of the half, Prescott.
Oh.
Damn.
Clip it. Clip it. Clip it.
What the?
Clip it. Clip it. Clip it.
Boy, some bullshit going on in there, man.
Clip it.
How did she get that? Wow. That's the replay time.
I fuck with it, though. I fuck with it.
Ooh, now, okay. I mean, okay.
Fuck he thought, man. As he takes it the other way to the Tell him he ain't scoring no more. I told him he ain't scoring no more. I'm not all fucking lying. I wasn't lying.
Will take us to the end of the first half of play. And that'll be it for the end of the second quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports.
I wasn't lying, man.
Interesting.
And I get the ball. And I get the fucking ball, man.
Ah, no, we ain't finna watch that because she finna destroy him. She in the zone. You see that? She got in that zone. Once you get in that zone, you get in that zone, boy. There ain't nothing you can do. That's funny. Hey man, we gotta do that more often. That was funny. Just find a random live and go in and see what's crack-a-lacking. I wish I can do this report that I'm looking at right now, but it's 30 minutes and I don't want to sit there to 30 minutes just to try to get to the juicy part of why he trying to say Obama's finna go to. Is he trying to say he say it's over for Obama? Okay. That scared the shit out of me too. What? I like watching this. Yeah, I like this show because he is very, very educational. Very.
All right, people. So this is another one of my reacting to a reaction video. So this reaction video comes to it again from Vivek. I don't know. He just knows how to move people in a certain way because these people like hate him to death. So this is Sam Cedar and the Majority Report, which I think is a pretty decent show. But they are like left-wing lunatics. They are now going to review Vivek Ramaswamy's interviews in a couple of places where he's challenged on some alleged racist comments. So, we'll go through their interview and we'll see, if what is the deal? Why do they agree or disagree with Vivek? Or, I'm assuming they
got 1.34 mil, 4,000 likes.
wholeheartedly disagree with Vivek, but let's see what they say.
When we were talking to Richard Kallenberg about his proposal to roll back zoning restrictions, Rehan Salam wrote a piece in The Atlantic saying, you know what? It's the shrillness. It's the pushy.
But before we get into this, let me start by saying this. Let me take this off the screen real fast. It amazes me how many people who claim that they can come to this place of mine and sit here and grab this mic and can do this and sit here. Now I know and really talk about things that are education and smoke. Well, they be like, man, I can do that, man. I'll come over, bro. And then they don't show up. Is the things that I talk about really that controversial? Is the things that I talk about really that hard to have a discussion with? Is it really that hard? Is it really hard to sit here and educate ourselves and smoke weed and pop Tylenols? What? I mean, hey, listen here. I got to get into my comedian side of me, so I got to tell jokes, and we just learned that, Joe Biden wants to make weed look like Tylenol pills. Yeah. Well, he wanted to decriminalize weed to the, like taking pills. So you need 1,500 milligrams. So you need 1,500 grams to even think about catching a fucking... Yeah, okay. Like I said, people finna start smoking weed in parks. And niggas finna start smoking weed on buses. Yeah. Yeah. It's a Tylenol. I got a headache. People, do you see how people is finna take this and run with it?
Yes.
Bruh, I'm finna... I just caught a headache. Why you catch a headache? You know the bus was... Oh, don't let the bus be late. Public... Right on that motherfucker. Man, why you smoking this weed, man? I'm just popping this Tylenol. Come on, stop playing. You heard what Sleepy Joe did. You heard what Uncle Joe did. Stop playing. Uncle Joe got this down to a Tylenol. We good. We chill. We all right. So, just imagine these people under the same influence, they know the same retribute. Come on, man.
Of all the yimbies that is really polarizing. I remember years ago I was on Chris Hayes' show on MSNBC, and Christine Todd Whitman told me that who was the former EPA under George Herbert Walker Bush, the reason why the right doesn't believe in climate change is because the liberals and the Democrats and the left has been so pushy about it that it's forced them.
Make it make sense. Make climate change make sense. Make it make sense. Have the climate been changing before you was born? Yes or no? Is climate going to change when you're dead?
Yes.
Why the fuck is we spending all this damn money on something that's automatically, you hear the key word? Automatically gonna happen. Climate change, I believe, on a conspiracy, and this is just a conspiracy, this is just a hypothesis, this is just me going off the radar. Climate change is them saving money so they can ship their asses to Mars because they scared that this planet is going to be doomed. They're building a rocket ship in Texas. It's going to ship them to the moon, and some of them might go to Mars. If you go to Venus, you probably ain't got a penis. I'm just saying, make this make sense, bro.
Us to
That's
take
what you made us do.
And here is Vivek essentially making the same argument that people who are fighting against racism are actually generating more racism.
I think that's possibly true. I think people who pretend to be fighting against racism can generate more racism. And
when you're scared of the boogeyman, okay, ladies and gentlemen, when you're scared of the boogeyman, and then you tell somebody else the boogeyman's real, and then you keep telling somebody else the boogeyman real. When you tell 20 years of people, hey, the boogeyman's fucking real. That's a lot of generations. That's 2 decades of people that's gonna be scared of the boogeyman. Have they ever seen the boogeyman? No, they just heard the story. Hey, the boogeyman was real. Yo, was racism real? Yes. Yes, indeed. When's the last time anybody seen a true, indeed, flat out, real, except for recently, just like racism, like flat out. Do people hate a different color? Yes. For a good reason? Probably so. Probably not. It happens. But to up here and say that climate control and racism got something to do with each other? Climate control and racism got something to do with each other. Okay. Oh, all right.
So let me explain. If I go to a place and something happens to me, and I for a fact know that it's not racist, then I say, hey, they're doing this to me just because I am black, then that, I think, is going to generate more racism, right? Because people are going to believe that, and then when they find out it's not true, then they'll find some way about me, oh, black people are doing this thing. So that's why. So I do think fake racism generates more racism. And there are other examples. And calling everything racist or seeing everything in a lens of racism when there's no evidence of racism there also generates more racism. It generates, because especially from the people who you're calling a racist who may not have been racist before, but then may spark racist tendencies in them afterwards because they said, well, hell, when I wasn't racist, they were calling me racist, so what the hell with it, right? Let's see what they're saying about this.
Said that racially motivated violent extremism is on the rise. This is clearly part of that. What would a President Ramaswamy want the Justice Department to do about this racially motivated violence that we're seeing on the rise?
I think that every criminal deserves to be punished to the fullest extent of the law, especially when they're carrying out premeditated crimes like this one. This was a heinous crime. My heart goes out.
Just so everybody knows, he's talking about what happened in Jacksonville.
Out to the families who were affected by this. It is tragic, and this should not be happening in the United States of America. I think the fact of the matter is, Chuck, it is really just a symptom of a deeper, new form of national division that we have created. And I think one of my top jobs as the next U.S. president is really to lead with
now,
a
pause it for a
national
second, because I want you to really pay attention to this, because this is what the right will always do, and this is what they're doing these days, whether it's in this context, whether it's in the context of CRT, whether it's in it is always like it's an individual act, and then it's about division that has, and there's sort of like a certain passivity about it.
Except when they're Muslim. Except when they're Muslim. Then it's a part of a larger ideology. Or even when that shooter that was trans. Then it's a part of a larger mental illness. So they pick and choose.
All right, so they're saying that on the right, when like when the one trans person did that shooting, they are saying, well, they'll say it's indicative of all trans people. And now if one conservative people, they're saying it's not indicative of all, which I think is true. In other words, I think they're just being dishonest in this point. I think on the right and on the left, I'm thinking both sides really say when you have a situation when you have a mass shooter with some political ideology, right? That's just that person. That doesn't show all Democrats. Like when Steve Scalise, when he had that shooting with the congressional baseball game. Remember the baseball game? Republicans were playing that baseball game, and you had the person go out there, the Bernie Sanders supporter go out there, right? That wasn't indicative of all Bernie Sanders supporters. And then you had the Trump bomber, the guy who was sending pipe bombs all to around the country. That guy wasn't indicative of all Trump supporters, right? And I think even with this guy who did this thing in Jacksonville wasn't indicative of all conservatives or whatever he is particular. It's an individual act from somebody who's crazy. And I think both sides need to recognize that. So, them saying that Republicans do it, the liberals do it too. And it's interestingly enough, because in this little back and forth between Vivek and Chuck Todd, he's essentially going to say that. He's going to say, well, this is indicative of the right. You'll see he's going to say, well, it's more on the right than on the left. And I think that's Chuck Todd doing exactly what they're saying he shouldn't do. Take one specific incident and overgeneralize it to a whole group of people.
Right. When we're talking about race, it is always like there's no racial act. There is only individuals who are doing something, and then just the race.
There is no, I don't understand what he's saying. There's no racial act. If it's an individual doing something based on racism, then I don't think anybody, like the Jacksonville person, right? Everybody agrees it was an individual who was doing it based on race. I don't understand what this, maybe his supporters understand. I just don't understand this point.
Racial part is secondary to it. There's no structural aspects to this, none of that. And this is the
if it's an individual doing it with structural aspects to it. I'm not sure maybe I just have to listen to him to see where he's going with this. I just don't know.
way they fight against even the identification that racism exists. Good.
All right. Maybe I'm wrong. Racism exists. Conservatives agree with that. Liberals agree with that. Everybody, racism exists. We're not talking about whether racism exists or not. We're just talking about the scope and scale of it, right? They're pushing systemic racism. The right is saying there's an individualized racism and the differences between the two, right? So individualized racism, I think both sides agree. There are individual racists. Systemic racism is the issue. So I think they're being disingenuous and trying to make it seem like if you don't think systemic racism is something that we have to worry about today, that also means you don't think individualized racism is something you have to worry about. So I think they're just honestly conflating the two. So just so I'm clear on my point, Republicans and liberals agree there's individual racists out there, right? Individualized, there's racism. The disagreement is about the scope and scale, whether we're talking about systemic racism on a mass scale in the United States, or if we're just talking about pockets of racism that we have to kind of stop. That's the difference, I believe. But let's see what they say.
Top jobs as the next U.S. president is really to lead with a national tone of character that reminds us of how we are all united across our diverse attributes. I think part of the problem is we have obsessed so much over racial and other genetic differences that we have forgotten all of the ways we're really the same as a country. And I do think we need a leader and in the White House developing that national character for this country again. We also do have a mental health epidemic across this country, Chuck, that really is reflective of a hunger for purpose and meaning. We need to fill that void, address the mental health epidemic, but this is a tragedy and deserves to be called out as heinous. That's exactly what it was.
Why do you think there are more race-based violent crimes on the right than on the left? Why is this a lot more pervasive on the right?
Hold on. Hold the phone. What is he talking about? So if I was Vivek, I would challenge that number. Where the hell are you getting that number from? What do you mean it's all only on the right? We have examples of right and left wing lunatics doing this, right? It's not like we only have examples of right wing lunatics doing this. It's on both sides. Matter of fact, in New York, the majority of hate crimes are African Americans against Asians. And I don't believe the African American community is a huge right wing nut jobs, right? I think they like 80% or 90% vote Democrat. So just to say that it happens more on the right than on the left, you got to show me some statistics. Matter of fact, I went to the FBI data to try to find it, right? I was like, all right, so let me see. This is the U.S. Justice Department studies on hate crimes. Now, when you look at the data, it says 56% of people, when they know who their offenders are. Let me blow this up. When they know who the offenders are for hate crimes, 56% of the offenders are white. But understand this, whites are about 60 to 65% of the population. So they're underrepresented in this data. Now, even though it says white, we don't know if they're right wing or left wing. I think they're assuming they're all right wing, but that doesn't have to be the case. You could have some left wing people who commit hate crimes. And here it says 21.3% were black. But black people are only about 12 to 13% of the population. So they're way overreported here, right? It's disproportionately crazy for black people. And if you add people of color, that number becomes even bigger. So again, I don't know where he's getting this number from. It seems to me that black people as a proportion, right, of the population are overrepresented in these numbers. And whites, based on this, are underrepresented by these numbers. So, you know, but he wasn't really speaking about race. He was speaking about what's it called? Political views. But maybe he can find some numbers to support that. They're not here. They're not here. And then I know for a fact in New York, it wasn't white Trumpers who were committing all these hate crimes when the hate crimes were going through the roof. It was black liberals against Asians. So maybe he'll give us a cite for that number. I don't know. Maybe he's got to give us a cite or something.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I think that there's a lot more violence that's also pervasive in parts of the country that supposedly.
You see, this is why I like bringing up his report, because that boy is going to bring you the numbers, going to bring you the facts, and he knows exactly where to go look and can teach you where to go look and look up these numbers and look up these statistics. So when you're having these serious discussions with people, you know where to go look up the facts and numbers.
Our left-wing voter bases. So I don't think this is a
pause it. Wait, this is like the way, like how she shifted this inch. The question is race-based violence.
Yeah.
Race-based violence. That the violence was based upon the race of the victim. And then he shifted, well, look at other places of the country. I don't even.
Yeah, but nobody's given any citation for that number, right? And I'm going to say, people, this could be true, but they're just assuming that. I would assume that in New York City, but when you look at the numbers, it's black people who are committing the majority of the hate crimes. And then if you just think about, well, are black people more likely or less, black New Yorkers, are they more likely or less likely to be voting for Trump or be right wing? 80% of them or maybe 90% of them are voting left wing. So in New York.
I know definitely in New York, niggas do not like Trump. They don't. It's like they done lived and bathed and had sex with Trump. They not sleeping with that nigga. I'm just saying, that's just how people describe Trump.
That's definitely not true. I don't know how it is for the rest of the country. So again, I just don't know. And then we saw the numbers. African Americans are overrepresented when it comes to the people who commit hate crimes, right? And whites are underrepresented based on population. So again, I don't know where they're getting these numbers. Maybe they're just saying as an aggregate, but this is, again, I think this is a bullshit assumption. And maybe if you could find the data and show me that this is actually true, I'll believe it. But right now, I think they're making an assumption. And what do I say about assumptions? It makes an ass out of you and me. So I do not believe this assumption at all without the data. I would, back in the day, I would have believed it, but now I don't. I think this is bullshit.
Even know what he means by other places of the country.
He means urban areas where there's crime in Chicago or in New York.
Black on black crime.
And for some reason.
No, he means black on Asian crime in New York. Like these. Here we go.
Ground, her purse stolen. Just one of several attacks in California's Bay Area recently. A 91-year-old man pushed in Oakland's Chinatown. One of 3 attacks that day. 84-year-old Thai American Visha Ratanapakdi knocked over while out for a walk. He died a few days later from his injuries. His family saying they believe it was rooted in racism.
Am I going crazy? It's CBS News, they're reporting this.
Targeted crimes against the AAPI community across the Bay Area have dramatically increased since the start of the pandemic. Now 6 men are being charged with hate crimes after San Jose police arrested them in connection with at least 170 incidents in the past year. ABC 7 News reporter Dustin Dorsey explains how the community came together to help catch the suspects.
My ninjas, she had to say that shit real slow. 187. She cringed her teeth because she had to say that about a black person.
Violence, robberies, purse snatchings, and attacks on the Asian American community like this video shows in San Jose, the highest it's been in the past 2 years across the Bay Area. Leaders don't want residents in San Jose, especially in Little Saigon, to be fearful this holiday season and beyond.
Now, let me show you a picture of those suspects. These are right-wingers, right? Right-wing Trump supporters who live in an extremely liberal city. Over 100 hate crimes. So I just don't take that number as real. I think that number is full of crap, but they're going to continue to talk about it as if it's a real number.
And those crimes like associated with, I don't know, theft or other like criminal acts, that happen because people are either desperate or they're stealing.
When somebody send the video to them and show them the difference and show them the facts and show them the numbers, what would you say then, you Democrat loving person? I'm just saying. Love it or hate it. Numbers don't lie.
Or whatever, that is in any way equivalent to white supremacist violence.
Yeah, all those black people are white supremacists. All those black people who are targeting.
I'm not a white supremacist. I'm a white nationalist. Shit. I mean, that's what they tell
Asians
me,
that we just saw in that video, right? It's don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's something else other than hate, other than left wing hate. Do people really watch this show and believe like this is really bad? Yeah, this is really bad.
Violence. Like these are the kinds of crimes that happen in every society versus the ones that are motivated by a right-wing terrorist ideology.
He wants to
those black guys were motivated by a right-wing terrorist ideology.
Make sure that there is no such thing as a racially motivated crime. He wants to make sure that that cannot exist. He will not acknowledge it. Go ahead.
Of the country that supposedly are left-wing voter bases. So I don't think this is a left versus right issue, and I don't think we should try to politicize this through partisan goggles either, Chuck, especially in the wake of a tragedy like this one. The fact is there are more black men dying on the south side of Chicago.
Do you ignore the elements that allowed this manifesto to spread online, and that what we're, it does feel as if social media connects some of these hateful ideologies.
Well, the fact of the matter is I do think we have two standards that we're even applying if we're having a conversation about manifestos. We still have not yet even seen the manifesto of that transgender shooter in Nashville of a Christian school, and yet here we're focusing on the motive.
Every manifesto that I ever known of a person, it comes out. And like he just said, he busted to the white meat. That transgender person that did the shooting, y'all wouldn't even let that manifesto out. You can't even talk about it unless you're saying that transgender person is the victim for shooting up the school, shooting up some kids. Like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
So if we want to look at this through a politicized lens, let's look at what the political media and the political establishment is doing differentially in how they analyze different crimes.
He's right.
And then create a new narrative around it. The fact is, what I said in the Nashville shooter case, I will say here. Any killing, any mass killing is heinous. We need to get to the root cause of the mental health epidemic, address that. We need leadership that sets the right tone in this country.
Can you pause it, actually?
Yeah, I'm going to pause it for myself because, number one, these people are clowns, right? Number one, they're just assuming that it's more right-wing. Nobody, they've cited nothing. They showed any statistic. They just said it happens more on the right. Now, I show you instances where you got black people in liberal cities committing hundreds of hate crimes, right? They just totally ignore that, and they want to feed the audience the assumption, the unjustified, unfounded assumption.
But see, people like that, and I wish you would say it too, people like that would not go on a debate or a real podcast show with somebody that's right down the middle and sit and have a discussion with somebody that got numbers and facts and got a TV up there too. This is why I wanted to take the marijuana industry to this level. And I know everybody just want 10-minute videos and, just make a quick 10-minute video. I really just like sitting on her chilling, going over videos, discussing things in live time. And then the video be up there for y'all to look at it. That's why it's called Burn Live, unless you catch me on Cannabis Conservative. But this right here is like, come on, man. I ain't gonna even hurt y'all ears. Ain't gonna hurt y'all ears. We're gonna find something else more suitable for us to learn and talk about, because that, nah. When you gotta make a point, you just gotta make a point. But don't point at me when I tell you something or I show you something, and then people be like, hey, it's still wrong or it's still not right. I'm trying to see everybody talking about this Maui Wowie with this Oprah Winfrey and The Rock. I mean, everybody putting their little 2 cents in. I know y'all seen it. I hope y'all seen it. If y'all not, I'm not gonna. I guess I'm gonna have to, since I'm talking about it, huh? Like, you just can't talk about it, Capiche. You're not sure, buddy. Not all of us look up the same things you look. I mean, I didn't look this up. This was just landed in the lap.
Okay, so hopefully you already watched this.
So, and this is to my good friend who be watching my shows later on. I appreciate everybody that do watch my shows later on too, though.
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui. So if you send a donation, just click where you see below and send a donation. That money is going to go to one of many residents who have been displaced in Maui. We guarantee.
That's right. I know a lot.
So we appreciate any support that you can give all the people who were called.
Now.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh my God. Before we get to this, ladies and gentlemen, what's finna happen next? Do you have any idea what she's finna say? Yeah, I bet you this lady right here is probably from Maui. She probably say, yeah, I reached out to Open trying to get some of that money and probably couldn't get it. Oh my God, this doesn't look like it's gonna go right, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying. Hashtag Red Eyes, keeping underage smoking off social media, killing ourselves for your entertainment. This is the Burn Loud Show. This doesn't look like it's going right.
I'll listen to this.
You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that you somehow managed to hire a private firefighting team to protect your land before the fire started. You're so concerned about what's happening in
Is there any way we can look that up? Any way we can look that up? Okay, let's go to the next one.
In Maui, that instead of taking some of that land and housing even a small portion of those displaced people, you've hired a private security team to keep them off your land.
She hired a private fire people to keep the fire off. And she just hired private security to keep people off the land. Jesus.
You're so concerned about Maui that you simply haven't had time to denounce any of the shady real estate deals which are robbing people of everything they have. You know, like the ones you were involved in that helped you acquire that land for pennies on the dollar of what it was actually worth. You're so concerned about Maui that instead of taking what would amount to a year's salary for you and 4 or 5 of your billionaire friends, which could be used to rebuild the entire place in a matter of months, you're jumping on social media and asking the American public, most of whom can't afford to pay their rent right now, to do it for you. You're so concerned about Maui that it's more important that you get social media points than that you help.
Okay, man, I'm going to leave you with this article from Forbes. Here's Oprah Winfrey real-time net worth. $2.5 billion. Here's The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And I actually like The Rock. $800 million. Together, they have more than $3 billion. Way more than $3 billion. You can't make this up, bro. God bless.
just gonna take the time out to do this real quick for you guys that just came in here. Cause I just want to soak this in when you see $3 billion staring at you from your phone, from your tablet, from whenever you watch, or if you've seen this or not seen this. But you was looking at $3 billion. The words of most Christians around here in America, because I am a Christian. I may not be the best Christian, but I'm a Christian. If y'all really doing some scandalous stuff, like how that lady just said y'all doing some scandalous stuff, boy, people gonna say y'all gonna go to hell. Now, I don't like saying stuff like that about people. That's why I say they gonna say y'all, because I don't, like I said, I don't like calling people out. I'm not here to judge nobody. But that's sad. That's how, like, I was never a fan of Oprah in the first place, me personally. I used to be a fan of Whoopi Goldberg. I used to, but, times change. The Rock Johnson, high school, wrestling, maybe. But, bruh, this right here is, I'm sorry, it's hard to fathom. It's hard to believe. Not that hard to believe, but it's hard to really just digest that y'all would go through $3 billion and don't want to touch a penny and ask broke people for money. Yes, it's hard to believe. $3 billion staring at me right now. I'm looking at $3 billion, ladies and gentlemen. Damn, that looks good. You know what? She almost looked my age. Okay, we gonna stop it right there with that. I'm sorry I had to put y'all through that drama. Al Sharpton targets Vicky Ramaswamy.
You talked. You mentioned.
Oh, did they not have an
And one thing, if you talked, you mentioned we talked 20 years ago, and I'm going to get to that, but you should have known 20 years ago. You're not going to out-talk me, so let me ask my question. I'll let you talk, then I'll go back to the
Goes
next
both
point.
ways, yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a heated debate between Al Sharpton and Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's a GOP candidate that has been on everybody's podcast, everybody's mainstream liberal media or conservative outlet because, everybody hates the guy, right? So everybody wants to interview him. Everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody hates him, okay? And Al Sharpton definitely hates Vivek Ramaswamy because Vivek Ramaswamy called out woke race hustlers like him, right, Al Sharpton, and his goons, Ayanna Presley and Ibram X. Kendi, who sound...
Look at the picture on the screen, how he got that Al Sharpton. He got Al Sharpton look like an assassin, boy. He look like he worked for the mob. It look like he sniffing a little Joe Biden's booty hole. Come on, dog. Al Sharpton been in politics for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. Does not play no games. Does not act no fools. We're not going to sit up here and just pretend like this has not been going on for centuries. Like he used to didn't like Joe Biden. Come on, man. But I still want to hear what this is.
Sound like modern day grand wizards of the KKK with their racial rhetoric. I mean, I literally just did a video about Joe Rogan and Bill Maher basically roasting the woke and their racialized rhetoric, comparing it to the Ku Klux Klan, which tells you everything you need to know about how most people in this country definitely believe that these people are super racist, and they definitely sound like the Klan, okay? It is not out of the mainstream to make that analogy because Democrats have set the precedent that, hey, it's okay to make these types of analogies. Specifically, when you are making these types of analogies, trying to smear the GOP and GOP presidential candidates or governors, like they did with Ron DeSantis, when you had a woke Hollywood actor come out here and compare him to the Grand Wizard of the KKK, or, for example, when Hakeem Jeffries, who now is the leader of the Democrats in the House, he compared Trump, when Trump was president, to the Grand Wizard of the KKK. But Al Sharpton seems to have forgot about that in this interview, and is going to get triggered, right? He's going to get triggered when Vivek Ramaswamy brings up the clear double standard and hypocrisy of the left in regards to how they always are calling people on the right, the KKK, white supremacists, using hyper.
I am fan to love this interview. Let's get to it. Come on. Ooh, that I'm telling you, that nigga look like he played in the movie Harlem Nights. Swear to God.
You want to boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it. So without further ado, go ahead and roll the clip.
Welcome back to Politics Nation. According to a brand new Wall Street Journal poll out today that was conducted entirely after the first Republican presidential debate and mostly after the release of Donald Trump's Fulton County mugshot, the former president.
Where is Black Lives Matter at when you doing this interview? You should have up there and got your back, because it's gonna go down, bro.
And holds a whopping 46-point lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, among.
Look at that 59%. That 59%, man, is doing his job. Pence, Scott, you man embarrassed me up on that stage. Let's get into this.
GOP primary voters, 59 to 13%. My next guest is also somewhere on that list, but with much less support, with 5%. Joining me now is 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. First of all, thank you for being here and engaging us in this conversation. I want to start with comments you made repeatedly now, referring to Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley and author Ibram Kendi as, quote, grand wizards of the modern KKK. Now, I understand you differ with both of them politically and probably with me. But as a graduate of Harvard and Yale universities, I believe you must be aware the Ku Klux Klan is not a political party. It's a terrorist organization. Historians view the Klan as the driving force behind lynchings of blacks in the American South, more than 4,000 people murdered from 1877 to 1950. And the group is linked to numerous other acts of racial violence continuing through the civil rights movement to the present day. You're running to be the leader of the free world, so your choice of words matter. Have you taken any time to reflect upon the possibility that comparing your political rivals to murderous terrorists might put their lives in danger at a time when hate crimes are on the rise? Or do you just don't care?
So Reverend Sharpton, I don't look at the world through political parties. Frankly, it's good to see it's been 20 years since we last spoke. And part of the reason that I came to that event 20 years ago with you is that you were a political outsider just like I am in my own party. But let me talk about the issue you're actually asking about, which is that, you know, what's toxic about that old worldview?
Anybody saying Vicky Ramaswamy camera is a little crooked? Or am I tripping? Just a smidget? Just a smidget, a little off? I'm just
of organizations like the KKK, which have been a god-awful stain on our national history, is that they say that your skin color determines what you're allowed to say, what you're allowed to think. To say you have to shut up, sit down, and do as you're told because you're black or brown-skinned. Well, you know what Ayanna Pressley said much more recently is that we don't want any more black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't want any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. And so, yes, I do think there are echoes of a historical ugly racism in this country now showing up in new clothing.
To say we
and
don't
what I want to lead us to as the next president
just a second.
is a
to say
united
that we
nation
do not want
where we
black
don't actually
voices,
judge each other on the color of our
To
skin.
say that is not going with sheets and burning crosses and lynching people. if she said something you
course it's not,
disagree
but the
with,
point I'm making-
you cannot equate Grand Wizard of the.
But he did.
The Ku Klux Klan with somebody saying something that you think is a little controversial or a little too far. Some of our relatives
So, Reverend
were
Sharpton,
terrorized by
Reverend
the Ku
Sharpton,
Klux Klan. I'm trying to get you to
Reverend
understand
Sharpton, I
the
know
pain
you're
of that.
intellectually honest. I know you're an intellectually honest guy, and so I will remind you that Hakeem Jeffries drew analogies between Donald Trump and the Ku Klux Klan, and I don't think you had him on pressing him in the same way. So we're drawing analogies here to
He
make
did not
a point.
call
and
Donald
the point I'm
Trump the
making,
Grand Dragon of the KKK. He did not call
compared Donald Trump
an
supporters
officer of the
directly
modern
to the
KKK.
KKK.
Let's not change what was said.
So, Reverend Sharpton, though, I'm calling out a double standard and saying that certain people can use certain analogies to make a point. Well, I'm using an analogy to make a point. And the point I'm making is we should stop seeing each other on the basis of our skin color.
You see how he said that? He said, no, he did not. He didn't call Trump a KKK. Everybody in that granny that was black back in the day was calling, Trump gonna hang us, niggas. That's what they all say. He gonna hang us. He gonna send us back to Africa. Africa's actually technically accepting you with no visa, so you can go to Africa. We can go to Africa.
It was god-awful when the KKK did it, but you know what? We have to learn a lesson in the present that we're creating more racial division in this country.
But you
when you say
cannot
if
do
you
it
have black
being
skin,
insensitive.
you can only think one thing.
You cannot do it being insensitive to our feeling. Like that's like calling somebody of any kind of group that had a group that were terrorizing.
So I agree
and
with you, we
killing
need
them.
sensitivity.
So I think we need to be very
part of what
careful
we need
about
is
that.
open
And I wanted to raise that
conversations.
with you
We need
directly. Let me
open
go to
conversations.
my next point.
And I respect that you're
because I
willing to
want
have an
get
open
to your
conversation.
campaign, but
That's
I
what we
want to
need in this
ask you a
country.
couple of questions. And one thing, you know, if you talked, you mentioned we talked 20 years ago, and I'm going to get to that, but you should have known 20 years ago. You're not going to out-talk me, so let me ask my question. I'll let you talk, then I'll go back to the
Goes
next
both
point.
ways, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. One thing I want to note here, right? I want to note, why does it look like Al Sharpton has a bobblehead, right? It looks like his head is too big for his body. Okay, it just looks weird to me to have that super skinny body and that big head. I just said, he always looks weird. But as you saw there, Al Sharpton certainly was not expecting to be confronted with the fact Hakeem Jeffries, the current leader of the Democrats in the House, once basically made an analogy comparing Donald Trump to the KKK. Now, Democrats do it so much on their side in regards to calling Trump a white supremacist and this, that, and the other. Again, it's become like they're deaf to it, right? They don't understand. He doesn't realize that, oh, my side does the exact same thing that I'm complaining about. But I want to go ahead and show this clip of Hakeem Jeffries being confronted on his comments about Trump, since Al Sharpton seems to have forgot that he, in fact, did make those comments, while Al Sharpton is denying or pretending that he didn't know.
Do you regret going that far in your comments on Monday?
With respect to the comments of a few days ago, we've got to have an opportunity for at least one day a year to have a candid, if sometimes uncomfortable, conversation about race. Seems to me that we can't have that conversation on Valentine's Day. We can't have that conversation on St. Patrick's Day. It's perhaps appropriate for us to be able to have that difficult discussion on MLK Day when we're celebrating the life and legacy of a champion for racial and social justice.
Yes, but you called the president the Grand Wizard, meaning of the KKK. That's language of the KKK. You think the president of the United States is connected to the KKK? He's a Klansman?
Absolutely not. And as you know, Allison, I did not use the words racist in any of my comments. In fact, Wolf Blitzer in the past has asked me whether I believe the president is a racist, and I've consistently said no. I did use a colorful phrase, but of course I don't believe that the president is a card-carrying member of the KKK.
Yes, I used a colorful phrase. So yes, I compared Trump to the Grandmaster of KKK wizard, but I don't think he's racist.
but it did capture a troubling pattern of racially insensitive and outrageous at times behavior in the alt-right.
You make good points. And I think that after Charlottesville, it was you who said that the president was a racial arsonist, meaning, I assume, that he inflames racial tensions. And I think that all of that is demonstrably true, as you've just pointed out. But, you know, the Grand Wizard, I mean, the reason that I ask you about it is because you call it colorful language, but, you know, isn't that inflaming the situation? Is that?
Y'all see what the screen say? Just in case people ain't looking. Call him the Grand Wizard of 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. Stop playing.
Is that helpful, likening someone to the head of the KKK?
Well, I think, as I just pointed out, I do not believe that the president is a card-carrying member of the KKK, but he has presided over and engaged in directly a series of racially insensitive remarks. We cannot whitewash that.
Yeah, so you see now you heard that. Okay, Al Sharpton seems to either be flat out lying, which he probably is, or he seems to have forgotten that Hakeem Jeffries, in fact, did claim that Trump was the Grand Wizard of the White House. Okay, he basically compared Trump to an officer of the KKK, which Al Sharpton on national television straight up denies that Hakeem Jeffries said it, even though Hakeem Jeffries basically didn't take it back. He didn't apologize for it. He essentially doubled down on it, okay, but says, hey, I don't think the president's racist, okay? I mean, of course he does, okay? This is the same guy as well, too, that...
When is the left, when is Democrats going to understand, like, we got the receipts now, y'all. We got the receipts. We going around to all your little Democrats smoking all your good weed up. All us Republicans going around smoking up your good ass weed because it's nothing but Tylenol pills. Getting rid of headaches. Getting all your Democrats. Oh yeah, I'm finna rub this into the ground today. For real. We got some new polls out. We got some new data polls out. Ooh, this came out 4 hours. New polls. Now, y'all know I'm finna go into the new polls. Fuck that. I hope it ain't long to get to it. Biden got a 36%, Trump 45%. Biden over this. That's what I'm talking about, child.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. So, big news out of the world and out of our studio is that we have brand new studio swag. You can see Donald Trump right up there with the parental advisory sticker. It's a massive photo of Donald Trump. I mean, it really is a huge photo of Donald Trump up in our studio, right on the brick wall there. It's now epic, it's now art, and it's now iconic. Iconic enough for people to literally be standing around. I don't know, this is like the ghetto Spice Girls standing around holding up Donald Trump's mugshot screaming Trump 2024. Calm down. Calm down. What's going on?
What in the hell? You see what happens when you put a mug on somebody's face? Trump's face, you put him in jail? Oh man, he got the ratchet hose now. Oh no.
Okay, well, Okay, got it. Well, make sure that you, I mean, I appreciate these women. Make sure that you raise your daughters so that they don't speak like this, but also, like, Donald Trump's mugshot is iconic and is making the kids wild out. How are you going to fight?
Hey, did y'all see old boy walk away? He was like, man, something wrong with these girls. I ain't get no poo nanny.
Fight that. How are you going to fight that? Well, apparently you're not going to fight that because new polling is showing that Trump will beat Biden in a landslide. What is this? This is published on Newsmax, but it's a McLaughlin poll. The McLaughlin group, of course, is a famous group of pollsters in Washington, D.C. They're legendary for the accuracy of their polls. What are they saying? After the Georgia indictment of Donald Trump, new national poll shows that he not only beats Biden, but would defeat him in an electoral landslide. How's that possible? The McLaughlin National Survey finds that Trump leads at Biden 47-43. Okay, that's up 2 points. Even more remarkable, we found that Trump was assigned, the poll assigned 4 more points of Biden 2024 voters than Trump. What that means in polling terminology is that they weighted the poll to favor Biden, meaning they had more Biden voters in the poll. Okay? So what this is showing is like a flip from Biden to Trump, which I think you're going to see a lot of. In fact, one of the more miraculous things that happened in the 2016 election.
I ain't gonna even stunt with y'all, man. This is beautiful to even see and hear. I am not gonna hold y'all too much longer. Nah, not gonna do that, y'all. We're gonna say this for tomorrow. We're gonna say this for next time. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Peace.